Hmm. I see it. There's an ad on right now. Hey, Blue On. We're heavily we're heavily invested in Blue On. Ferguson's.
Welcome back to HVAC Shop Talk. I'm sitting alongside Ralph, long lost
What's up,
Ralph.
fellas?
The younger guy's like, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah, they're like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, that's what they're thinking. It's like, "Hey, who's the other old guy with glasses that we're
No,
listening
you know
to?"
what though? I say that, but I still have guys come in class. There's at least one every class. Hey, I know you from YouTube.
Hey, you made a new video not too long ago. It was like a few months ago or something. You made something. You made something about your truck. I know that
Oh
much.
yeah, the generator mode.
Yeah, I think you're just
Yeah.
showing off a truck. That's what it looked like.
No, I like the generator. That's the only reason I bought that truck.
How much does it generate? Because I don't remember.
7.2 kilowatts. So about 30 amps. 230.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Good grief! All right, well, that's pretty good. I thought
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were
yeah.
gonna say like it's 500 watts or something like that.
No, hell no. That's a regular. That's just what you would buy off the, off the lot. But this
No, that's
actually,
pretty good.
yeah, and it's hybrid, so it's not running gas engine all the time.
Yeah, it's really really nice. It's really
Uh,
really nice. I don't have any new cars. I'm saddled with children that are still in the house.
uh,
Oh, did you hear my son? My son just went to his the college for the first time over the summer. He's taking a class and going to a
yeah,
camp
yeah,
at the
yeah. Going to
Citadel.
Citadel.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
he was losing
Congratulations.
his mind. Well, thank you. So
Why?
you would know about this. Okay, I'm gonna tell you because you would know. He left to go to this camp. The kid's never been anywhere on his own, really.
Right,
He's always
right.
known somebody, and he was losing his mind the first few days. He's like, I can't do this, man. I can't do this, man. They're from. He wakes up at 4:30, and they go all day long because they have PT right when they wake
Right,
up in the morning.
right, right, right.
And it's Charleston, South Carolina. It's hot,
No.
and
Yeah, but oh yeah.
he's conditioned for that. But it's I guess it's that and the fact that he's just like homesick out of his mind. But now he's kind of acclimated. They were at the beach today
Oh well,
because
yeah.
they're off, so to speak, today. So
So the only thing I would know is when I was in boot camp, and of course that's two different scenarios, right?
mm,
Being in boot camp, they keep you so busy that you don't know. I mean, you're so busy, your mind doesn't have time to stop. And then when it's time to
yeah,
hit the rack, it's time to hit the rack.
no
You're
trouble
just
sleeping,
tired.
right?
No, no, no.
That's what I was thinking. He was sitting there calling us. He's like, "I'm going to call you guys." Never has this kid wanted to talk to his parents so much in his life. He's like calling
Nah,
us like, "I love you, mom. I love you, dad." It's like, what? This is
yeah, it
great.
is. It's kind of lonely. Like guys in the if anybody in the chat's been in boot camp, they know they can understand. But I remember first when I first got there, it was like 10 o'clock at night, and they rushed us off the bus and they rushed us into the bathroom so we could take our P test. And they're screaming at us. You had recruits that just graduated from boot camp. They were screaming at us in the bathroom. You can hold it with one hand or whatever. And then they rush us off somewhere else. And, you don't know what's going on. They send you to your rack and you just climb in your rack. And I can't remember if I even put sheets on mine. It was so long ago, and when they wake you up the next morning, they're banging trash can lids. And it was just,
Mm.
I was, the whole time it was like that.
Where were you at?
Great Lakes up in, Illinois.
Oh,
And it
okay.
was so cold. It was cold.
That's like the opposite of where he's at. It's like frigid there, and it's like balmy. It's really hot. Well, you're
Yeah, it was.
you're you're hot out there, sure, right now too, right? On your
Yeah,
way from the
and
car to the office.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm always sitting in the air conditioning.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you should probably. Most of these guys seem to know who you are, which is
Right.
understandable. So why don't you tell them what you've been up to? I don't know, like the condensed version. It's been a few years, so.
It has been a few years. I mean, I've been thinking. I was like, man, I need to do some more YouTube videos. My YouTube revenue has like, because I mean, during the wintertime, it always did anyway, but it picked up in the summertime, of course. But
Yeah.
so, but now I have a whole different skill set, you know, mini split stuff. But I don't have I'm not in the field, and when I do go in the field, I can't just, hey, let me do a video of this, and I can't just go in the training room and say, hey, let me do a video of this. So I had to kind of try to figure out what I want to do here. Like if I want to use the maintenance tool on the laptop and hook up to my unit here at home, or talk about LEVs or whatever, but I don't want to be too entrenched to too much of that content where guys are just, he just wants to talk about mini splits.
But that's what you love, though. I mean,
Oh,
I guess
yeah.
the alternative is either no videos or you answer questions about mini splits. I mean, there's plenty of guys I'm sure ask you questions about mini splits all
Yeah,
day
yeah,
long,
yeah.
so you can answer
Yeah.
those.
Oh, every day.
Same
Every
question
day I'm
too.
like, yeah, same questions. So
Like the condensate pump.
do what?
Like the condensate pump.
Oh yeah. When you get, and that's one video I'll probably do. How to wire
That's a
up
good idea.
how to wire up a mini split condensate pump on a Mitsubishi. Now Fujitsu is they break number 3, or they break 3. So
But you got to read the manual. That's what you're saying.
but you've got to read the manufacturer's manual, because the install manual that comes with a pump is kind of generic, and it just tells you to go look at the manufacturer's installation instructions.
So the Mitsubishi units, the installation instructions, they do go over how to wire condensate
Nope.
pumps into it. So where do you go? What manual are you reading?
You got to go over to my link drive and look at the accessories for that particular unit, and if there's a condensate pump in the accessories, click on it, and there'll be a installation. Yeah, float. Jerry's got it right. Float switches.
Jerry's a wise tech. He probably reads the internet manual, I guess is what it is, My Link Drive, which is,
Yeah.
do you really ever need to go to a paper manual if you're out there? You just go to the My Link Drive, right? Unless you don't have signal or something.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Honestly, I'd rather have the paper manuals than the online manual.
Oh, is that because you're old school?
No, it's because it's easier to flip through pages and scroll.
No, I like paper manual. I don't know, nostalgia.
But I can't. But I can't carry a paper manual around for everything. I mean,
No.
if I'm sitting here online, if I'm sitting right here with my laptop going, then I will. I'll be on Link Drive. But there's some things I have some cheat sheets on, like error codes. I pull those out, so I just search for them.
What's interesting is I should have brought up the comments, because I got some comments today. I'll bring them up on my phone, and I can ask you these comments because you owned a business too, and you could answer some of these questions unless you don't remember because you blocked it out of your memory, which is possible. I'm trying to find it now. I made a video called "Why Did I Start and Stop My HVAC Business?"
I saw it.
Well, there's lots of people. The first comment is, "I would not choose HVAC again ever." That's what the guy says. There's no other comment though. It's like he would not go back. So
You know what?
you're gonna say like you agree or something is what it looks like.
So there's this thing, and I looked at it today, and I forget there's an actual deal, right? So let's say you have a manager, and he's really, he was a tech, right? But he was a great tech, but he was a incompetent manager, right? That's called the Peters principle is what it's called. It's actually a real deal. And I've discovered that, the old deal, those who can't teach. You ever heard that?
Those who can't teach do.
Right.
Yeah.
Those that can't.
They can't do teach. Yeah.
Right. Well, I could do, but I just didn't like it as much as what I'd rather be teaching.
Well, it makes sense. I mean,
I really
rigorous.
would.
Yeah.
There's no 2 back surgeries in 2 months.
2 back surgeries in 2 months. Yeah, we were talking about that. Hey, you can talk about that if you want to. But I mean, these guys are asking. They go into a whole bunch of stuff about overtime. Then there's some spam comments about it. How did you know you were ready to start a business?
I kind of was like you in a way, but so I had done it early on, but I wasn't ready for it. Like in '99.
Oh, that's right.
And I wasn't ready. I just was not ready for it. And then I worked for several companies, and I went to work for a company. I I was on a job, and there was a guy that did work for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, right? And he was a vendor for them. That's all he did. And he had several rental houses and stuff like that. And the company that he owned did the job from the time he broke into the house and rekeyed the doors to the last trim nail. So he did everything for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And we was on the job, and he said, man, if I could find a guy to bring on, I would pay him so much a week. And I was like, well, hell, I'll do that. So I went to work for this guy, and they was killing me. They just so many hours, and they was really unorganized. And finally, I just told them, look, I'm done. I'm done with you guys. If you want me to keep working for you, I'll do it, but it's going to be by invoice based now and not weekly.
Yeah.
And then so that's how that started off.
Oh, it just kind of grew from there?
Yeah, yeah. And then that's when Service Magic.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, was that the point at which, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that was a stepping stone, was Service Magic before it was, what's it called now?
Yeah, I guess it's still called Home Advisor, probably.
Yeah. But in the beginning, when it was Service Magic, they had a great business model for guys. But then,
they don't feel that way anymore. Most of the guys said it's a scam now.
No. It definitely, it was a scam right after it turned into Home Advisor. It started to become a scam, and I was like, no, I'm done with this. I used it so much as a stepping stone. I had great customers from it. I was just like, I don't need you guys anymore. So,
yeah, I remember you telling me, because it was a lot like, you'd get a customer, and I want to say this was like a karate dojo guy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you kept gotten more and more from the one guy, and it's like that with me. I had a good time with Home Advisor.
Yeah.
It had just become Home Advisor whenever I started using it.
There was a lot of customers that I got, and it just grew. And I did a video on it. It still may be up there, because I made a video, and even if it was wrong, it's still up there. There was one I actually put on private because I just got too many bad comments out of it. And I was just like, well, you guys didn't understand. I just had got this MacBook, and I was practicing some editing, and it made it look like I was really angry when I was doing this job, but I really wasn't. It was just trying to practice the editing stuff. And then I got so many bad comments on it, and I was like, I just don't need this video up there anymore, so I just took it down.
And you just put, this is nitrogen. I remember that video.
Yeah.
the accidental release of refrigerant, which was really nitrogen.
No, that was still there. That one's still
I know, but that's what I thought about when you said that.
Yeah, no, I was stapling some stuff, and I turned the screen all different colors. I was like,
I remember that.
The video started off, what the hell is this? That's how the video started off.
Why would they think you're angry?
I don't know. It was like, I would never hire somebody like you. I'm like,
it's like a psychedelic flash with angry talk. Isn't that like how the Manson family acted when their psychedelic flashes and angry talk?
Yeah. So, hey, I want to show you something right quick. I'm showing the people online. So my son, he does a lot of 3D printing stuff. And I told him, I said, hey, if you'll 3D print me a mini split, I'll let the guy, the CEO of Mitsubishi, I'll give him one. So he printed me out. Let's see. See this?
That's pretty cool.
It's a business card holder.
Oh, that's awesome.
Turn it over, and you can see the fins.
Yeah, I can see the fins. That's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
The coil's not blue.
Well, no, but I told him, I said, hey, if you can't you print different colors? It takes like three different heads.
Yeah, right. Because I got a 3D printer. I haven't set it up yet, but it's sitting back there. I was going to print some stuff out for Melissa and some of my stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully I got the right one and I can figure it out. Fingers crossed.
So anyway, I didn't mean to come on here and interrupt everything that you was trying to do.
Oh gosh, Ralph. I think it's okay. I mean, it's fine. Okay, so
I sent Zach a text earlier, and I said, "Hey, man, what you doing tonight on your live stream?" He said, "I'm doing this. Why?" And I said, "Well, I thought about calling him, but I don't want to sidetrack you."
Yeah, look how that worked out. Now you're on the screen, and we're talking about 3D printing. No, that's fine. I thought that was kind of cool. I'm glad you texted me.
Yeah.
And it's good to have you back on the air. It's always
I know,
fun.
I know. So everybody's in the chat wondering where I was or how I'd been, and who was it? Was it Larry that was asking about when I'm going to be in Greenville again?
There was somebody asking. It was Roger Gregory. Ralph, when you be in the Greenville, South Carolina area again?
Yeah. So um, I only live about 45 minutes from Greenville, so I pass through Greenville all the time, going to Charlotte or Asheville or
That's
Franklin,
right.
North Carolina, or something like that.
Oh, that's right.
So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm in North Carolina a lot actually. Actually, we got a training room in Charlotte, and we'll have one open in Asheville in the fall.
Well, is that going to be something that you're going to visit regularly? Is that like your training area? Or is there a guy up there?
Yeah. So I do Charlotte. So my area is Winston-Salem West,
Mm-hmm.
and then south down to Georgia, into Georgia. So South Atlanta.
Does it go into Tennessee or to just North Carolina?
No, just North Carolina. We have a group in Tennessee that's in a
Okay.
different district, and then we have I do all of South Carolina, Mitsubishi, and then we have a separate Ream guy that does South Carolina in Wilmington,
You do
and
all
then
of. I mean, if someone calls from Charleston, you go there.
mhm. Yeah, but our guy that does Raleigh and Wilmington,
Mm-hmm.
see Charleston, that's his. So it takes about 4 hours to get to Charleston for me, and about
Yeah.
4 hours for him to get to Charleston. So that's depending on which part of Charleston is depending on which one will go, if we
Oh,
need to
that's
go.
interesting. Right on the
And then
cusp. Yeah, it's 4 hours from for me, or just over four
yeah,
to go to Charleston.
yeah, and then I go down to Augusta if I need to go.
Wow,
So
man.
I'm all over the place.
Does
That's
Ted
why I
put in
bought that
Mitsubishi
truck.
units?
He's doing a train brand at Mitsubishi.
Oh, okay, but you don't handle those then.
No, but it's the same stuff. So,
Okay,
and
I
actually,
was curious if you would answer any calls that he had,
now if he called me, of course I'd help Ted.
but it wouldn't be
Um,
routed to you, is what I'm saying. It'd be a
no,
train guy answering those calls.
yeah, but the guy he talks to at train, he talks to the same guy over at Mitsubishi that I talk to.
Yeah.
It was funny the other day. Um, there's a big company in Atlanta called Shoemate, and they buy from both the big VRF stuff. They buy from Train, of course, because that's where you have to buy the C multi stuff from. But the M&P stuff they get from us. Well, they've only got two wires coming from the outdoor unit, and they
Mm-hmm.
wanted to know if there was a way to make that P series work with just two wires. And there is, but it's not on the older models. You could do it. It was in the manual. But the newer models, too many people was messing it up, so they kind of took it out of the manual. And then so I said, yeah, you got to do this and this. And then I sent him the excerpt from the old manual, and he sent it over to the train DSG that does my job over at Train. And that train guy was on the job site visit with the area service manager from Mitsubishi, and I recalled the guy from Mitsubishi to find out. And he was like, "Man, that sounds oddly familiar." And he called me. He said, "Was this Shoemate?" And I said, "Yeah, that's who it was." And he was like, "They called David Rodriguez, who's the train guy, to verify." I was like,
Oh,
"Isn't that funny?" Yeah.
yeah.
So
You got verified there.
yeah. We talked to the same guy. So
That's funny. Hey, you got some questions coming in here. Are the trainings? I think he's referring. I don't know which one he's referring to. The training open to everybody.
yeah. Anybody can come to any of our training, and ours start in the fall. So I hadn't scheduled the classes yet. And generally, I'm the guy that schedules the classes. So generally, I'll start them in September.
Okay, so people actually will come.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if a company has like more than five guys that want to come, I'll schedule it anytime. If they wanted to do
Uh,
one 2 weeks from now, like in our Charlotte location, then and they have more than five guys, I'll do a 2 day class for those guys.
oh, okay, that's nice. So, what the 2 day class would be? What is that called?
The 2 day M&P.
M&P. Okay.
M&P.
And let's see. Weaver is asking if you still like chocolate Pop Tarts.
Oh yeah, I love them.
That's some heavy hitting question from Weaver.
Love them. I got some
Uh,
over in the cabinet.
that's funny. Greg Meadows is asking, is MEL32 the same as POE?
No, it is a different blend. I don't know. I haven't really looked up on it, and uh, I'd have to go, and it depends on which unit, because you can go into the service manual. It'll tell you what oils in it, but I don't
Man,
know.
I gotta look that
There's a
up
lot
now.
of there's a lot of stuff that you would think that I would know, and I really don't care about some of this stuff, like the oil that it takes, because I know where to look it up at. So my
Hmm.
brain's only so big, right? I'll be the first to tell you that I'm a dumbass just like everybody else, right?
Is
I
this just
just
what you say when you don't know the answer?
Yeah. Hey, to give myself more credibility in class, one of the first things I tell the people in class is, uh, there's the only difference between me and you guys is I have this job and you don't, because I'm a dumbass just like everybody else,
Then they
right?
laugh.
And then they laugh and everybody likes it.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
want to appear like one of the guys, but not too far beneath them that they don't want to listen to you because they think you're an idiot.
right? Well, I am an idiot,
No, no, all the stuff you
but
said
but
sounded
I
really good.
but you know what? I just know I'm just better at finding. I just have better resources than they do.
Well, they're stuck in their pride. They won't go to the resources. They're trying to figure it out.
Not me. I learned a long time ago. And it's weird because when I was in the field, I was really critical of guys in the field and, doing such a poor job or whatever else. But once I left the field and got into this job, now it took a little bit to get out of that. But now when guys call me, I don't care if they call me on the stupidest little thing or the most complex thing. I treat them all the same because, if you don't know, you don't know. And
Yeah.
it gives me the chance um, to help them so they don't have this same issue again. The same thing with the mini split pumps, dude. I'm
Hmm.
telling you, that day answered 6 calls on the same thing. I was like, oh my God. But it's just, I just, it's like a teaching moment.
Yeah. You have a chance to, if someone's starting at 1 and you can get them to 2, I mean, that's as good as taking someone from 7 to 8, I guess, too.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
In
yeah.
brain power. That's what I was doing there, brain power scale out of 10.
And and I don't mind. I don't mind helping them because the more I help them, and I let them know I'm a lazy SOB. The more I can teach you, the less you had to call, the less I had to work.
Oh, so that's the plan. Oh,
That's
that's
the
pretty
plan
good.
right there. See,
Oh,
I'm not stupid. I'm
the
pretty
veil's
selfish like
back.
that.
The veil
I'm
comes
pretty
back and I
selfish
can see
like
the
that.
wizard.
Yeah. And Jeff,
Oh,
yep, I'm still. So Jeff asked if I was still living in the camper, and the answer is yes. And at the end of the day, I figured, what does a guy like me need? I need a place a bathroom, a refrigerator, a bed. I mean, and no responsibilities, right?
no
So,
response. We got to go to work stuff.
yeah, it's like 20 foot.
Oh, wait a second. You work from there
I
most
work
of the
from
time?
here most
You
of the
know,
time.
I
Yeah,
didn't even think about that you're working from there.
yeah, yeah. It's like 20 foot. Now, if I have to, like, I was in Atlanta the other day. Um, did a job site visit. So I'm where I'm at here, um, because I'm 2 hours away from everywhere I need to go, except for like Charleston,
Yeah,
right? And then
Charleston.
sometimes I'll have to go up to Boone, North Carolina. That's a little farther, but generally I'm 2 hours away from everywhere. So I'm central. And when I moved here, it was only going to be temporary, right? It was only going to be for like 6 months, and then they found out, or I've kind of volunteered. I said, there's no reason to hire a guy in Atlanta because I can do North Carolina and Georgia, without, there's not enough in Atlanta to keep somebody busy. So I
Wait,
can do them both.
Atlanta is not busy with stuff you got to go do?
No, I spend most of my time in North Carolina.
That's wild. Because I remember driving through Atlanta and it seemed like there's a lot of people there.
There is a lot of people there. There is a lot of people there. And our Atlanta, we have a lot of multifamily stuff there.
Hmm.
So that's not I don't get as many calls down in Atlanta as I do. Um, Now we're getting more and more contractors, of course, but
Hmm.
but a lot of it's multifamily down there.
Okay, so what do you answer calls on? Okay, because you got to remind me because some of the nomenclature I don't remember. Is it you just tell me? What do you answer calls on? What type of
So
machines?
95% of everything I do is Mitsubishi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the Goodman stuff is, you know, the other 5%.
That's so weird. So why don't you answer too many Goodman calls? You figured there'd
I
be
don't
plenty of
know.
Goodman calls.
So the thing about our sales guys, a lot of the sales guys field a lot of the calls, right? So I don't get as many Goodman calls. So we got a guy in Virginia. That's all he does is Goodman, and he is busy all day long, all
That's
day
weird.
long.
You know, I
But
would think that
remember,
Goodman's easier to figure out. I mean, than the
yeah,
Mitsubishi because it's more specialized, what you're talking about, than what a good. We've been around that Goodman style stuff our whole life. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right, right.
It's a collection of
Yeah,
remits.
no, but remember what I told you earlier before. I'd rather take 15 Mitsubishi calls than one Goodman call, and it's not. Uh, See, even Jessica called me one time,
I remember she mentioned that you helped her
and
out. 'Cause I asked
yeah,
her, she
yeah,
was on
yeah,
the air. I asked her, I said, "Did he help you?" And she goes, "Yeah, he solved the problem."
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. You know, so so a lot of our sales guys they've been around for a while, you know, so they kind of field some of the calls for me. Um, but like I told you before, I'd rather have 15 Mitsubishi calls than one Goodman call. And the reason for that is because it's hard to get past. It's hard for a guy to get past himself in order for me to help him
On the Goodman call.
on the Goodman calls, right? Because their ego gets shot down if they, you know, I'm asking them to do something. Well, they don't want to do it, right?
What's the difference
Well,
between the two people, though, that's calling?
because when you open a mini split up, what do you see?
A lot of crap.
Boards and wires, right? Boards and wires.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that happens with mini splits, and so guys are like, well, they're more apt to let me help them.
Yeah. Because they're at a loss for you're not going to know. Just like what you just said about your brain having a boundary line and some of the stuff lives outside of it and you just look it up.
Hmm.
To me, that's how I see mini splits. You can't remember all that crap. So
I
you're going
don't
to have to
remember.
look it
Hey,
up.
there's a lot of times there is a trust but verified, right? So there's a lot of times that I do know the answer to your question, but I'm going to go on link drive and get the answer. And then sometimes you go on link drive to try to find an error code or something like that, and that error is not there. So you're like, well, where do I go now? Well, then I have to go to the next series up to see if it's there. And if it's not there, well, maybe I need to go to the next series past that to get it. So some of these little M&P error codes will be in the city multi manuals, the big VRF stuff, because they're all the same.
Right.
The error codes are all the same. It's just some of them are numbered, some of them are lettered. Some of them don't happen all the time on the M&P stuff, but every once in a while they will happen, and it'll throw a city multi code.
That's interesting. And how would anybody know that was working out in the field
You wouldn't.
until you
That's what
call you?
guys. That's what guys like me get paid to do. Or
Okay.
uh, it only happens. It only has to happen one time for them to know that, hey, I need to go here. And you know what that's called?
Learning experience.
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 I
Right.
got it. I got it the
So
second time.
Ted's in the chat,
See
but
old Ted.
so I had a guy call me on a mini split pump, right? And he didn't know how to wire it up.
Condensate pump.
Right, condensate pump.
Because
Yeah,
there's some people out there that don't know much about mini splits.
yeah,
Probably
yeah.
they're like,
So
"What are you talking about?"
condensate pump. So um, Blown Cobra's got a question to ask you.
You go ahead and tell your story. Type the question while we're telling the story.
So anyway, so he didn't know how to wire up the condensate pump, or no, he was wiring it up, and then one would work, one wouldn't, because it was a dual zone in the same room as a CNC place that made aircraft parts, and this was
Oh,
just a
neat.
little room by itself. So I had a mini split in it, but it was two zone, two ported unit, and so one indoor unit would work, but the other one wouldn't. And he called, and I helped him out, and somehow he crossed the wires up, or I don't know exactly what he did, but uh, it stopped working. The whole system stopped working. Well, it turned out that he shorted the board up on the roof.
Mm.
So we put a new board in it, and it worked for 4 days. Well, it quit working again. So I was like, dude, what the hell did you do? I don't know. So, well, this board was on back order for like 3 months. So I had to pull some strings, and see, this is the nice part about me living where I live. I'm close enough to Swanee where I can drive down there and do what I got to do. And I was able to just bring him the whole electrical compartment, both boards. So I just happened to be going up to North Carolina, going by where he was, and so I stopped in on him, and he showed me the unit. I was like, "Well, dude, you want me to tell you why that board burnt out the second time?" He said, "Yeah," and I said, "You didn't use a heat paste, did you?" "Well, no, I used a heat because the heat sink on this board came separately, right?
Hmm.
You know, the heat paste that goes in between the thermal
Oh,
paste."
yes, yeah.
So he didn't put
Ooh,
any on it. But had I would have not been there looking at it, I wouldn't have been able to tell him unless he sent me pictures.
that's an interesting one.
So because he didn't use a heat paste, he just used the old heat paste, and there wasn't enough. So if you guys don't know, if you're putting heat paste on a heat sink, you have to do a really thin layer, even thin layer. Don't glob it on there, because too much heat, thermal paste won't transfer the heat, and the heat will stay in the board. But if you have gaps in that thin layer, then it'll get too hot, and it
Hmm.
won't transfer properly. So it will burn a board up.
That's a good tip right there.
Hey, see?
That's gonna be a video later, Ralph. Good job.
Hey.
People are
Anyway,
gonna learn all over the internet. You're still teaching. You're not even trying.
no, dude, I don't know. I really like doing what I'm doing.
I
Any
can tell.
snakes lately? Yeah, I had I had a guy call in not too long ago, and a lady had mice in her board, right? And a snake had went up there to get the mice, and he
Hmm.
fried himself. And then, so we warranted the board. Well, he called back 2 months later, and guess what? He had mice on the board again, rat turds, mice turds and pee and everything. And he said, "So is this going to be warranty?" I said, "No, nope." I said, "We cannot. If we don't make the lady have skin in the game, she's not going to get rid of the mice. We just keep giving her board, so no, she's on her own." So, there's, just so you guys know, that when you order the units, you have to make sure you get the units that don't have the the factory installed mice. If you get the units with
Factory
factory installed
installed
mice,
mice.
it's gonna be messed up every time.
Man, there's a guy out there going, "What is he talking about?" There might come up with the unit. Oh, that's funny. I
Yeah.
had the one I put in. Oh geez, I think it was the Samsung that I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure. No, it was Quiet Side. So same difference. It was the same company at that time.
Right.
So I put it in, and this thing's like 10, 12 years old now. And I came back because I had sprung a leak, and I had to repair the leak and fix it. And when I opened up, there's a board on the top, and you open it up, it was frogs everywhere. It was like frogs all over
Yeah,
this
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah,
It was the weirdest thing. I was like, how is this thing not all like these frogs not shocked and dead and his board trashed? A few years later, board went bad. I
yeah,
don't know if
yeah.
it's frog related or not.
So Nick's HVAC, he brought up a good point. So he said, those that do computers on the side, that's instinctive. They know that about the board. I mean, the heat sinks
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
thermal paste. And how I learned it was Bosch had forgot about sending thermal paste with their boards, and they put out a
Hmm.
little thing on it. And I was like, well, I wonder how much you need. And then so I went online and I looked up a thermal paste video on a computer channel, and that's where I found that out.
That's pretty
So
interesting.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm still like, I don't watch a lot of HVAC videos anymore. I just don't, because I'm too busy doing other stuff. But I
Yeah,
do watch a lot of the engineering mindset videos.
those are good.
Those
Yeah,
are really, really
yeah,
good. I learn a lot from those videos, and I give them plugs in just about every class.
yeah. Those are really good. I think that's the guy who he has
The
some stuff
English
on
guy,
motors and ECM
yeah, yeah,
motors and
transformers, and
hybrid cars and stuff.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
cool. Yeah,
He's a really he does an excellent job.
yeah. I've enjoyed that stuff. Every now and then I'll be like, I need to know how this thing works. And man, he does it in a way that you really understand it. Really nice.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I knew how to
Thomas,
do it.
what'd you say?
I wish I knew how to do all the graphics and stuff.
I know, right? I mean, Brian does that stuff now. Have you seen any of Brian's stuff? He does stuff like
I
that.
actually, I actually do watch some of those classes that Brian. You know, he does those classes. I guess what are they, Jessica? Are they on Mondays or something? But he does those classes for his techs, and it's those
Hmm.
field classes, or not field classes, but it's just classes in his office in the mornings with his guys. And I watch some of those videos, and I'm yelling at the screen, "It's this! It's this! It's this!" You know,
Oh, you're trying
so
to
I
answer questions?
through
That's
the
good.
screen, yeah, but it doesn't. He
Monday
can't hear
morning.
me. He can't hear me.
But he
So
does this stuff now. You have you seen Interplay Learning, like the stuff they do? That's virtual learning.
oh, yes,
So
yes.
what's what are you saying that for? I mean,
So,
Interplay. A lot of people like that now. And that's what Brian's
well,
doing almost. It's not interactive. What he's doing is like
so I
videos, but it's
so
similar.
I have a thing with Interplay that so Goodman's inverter unit. In order to sell it, you're supposed to take a course.
Goodman has an
Well,
inverter.
yeah, dude. Yeah, it's like a
Shut the
man.
front door. Okay.
Yeah. So so in order to get certified, you have to do this Interplay Learning interactive class, right? This course.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? I, I've complained about it from the very beginning because it's like you, it has nothing to do with inverters, and it would be something that somebody would learn the very first day at HVAC on any install. It's just, I was like, this is offensive. This is one time I'm going to say that you're wasting somebody's time by making them do this.
So it's like a basics course.
Oh, before basics. Is there
I wonder
something
why they're
before
doing
that?
that.
I don't know, but it's terrible. It's
I don't know if
terrible.
Interplay. I don't know if you have to have a subscription for it, but it's almost like I'd like to try one out to see what it's all about.
Well, if I can find a link to that one, I'll send it to you.
Okay. I
Um,
remember hearing about. I've never done one of those, but I know there's a few people out there to do this virtual training now.
I'm I'm sure that there's some good interplay stuff. I'm not putting them down, but just my experience with it is wasn't good.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like it. I don't know if it's just a mismatched video to the application. I mean, Interplay. I don't know. Goodman asked them for a video or something. You don't know how it all works out,
It's
but
has to do with marketing. Marketing set it up. But
that's how it
anyway,
happens.
yeah, marketing. If you want to change something in the industry, you have to get marketing to do it for you.
Yeah, marketing is it's funny. It's funny how marketing works. It works really well, actually. I think we bought a whole bunch of tools over the years from marketing. A lot.
Some good tools, some bad tools.
That's right. That's
Some
oh,
good tools, some
so
bad
speaking
tools.
of that, not a bad tool, a
Yeah,
good
yeah, yeah.
tool. A good tool that I was looking through some old videos just to make clips for like little spots and stuff like that, and I
Hmm.
came across me using the Smart Service tool, and I thought
Yeah.
about you. This was just like
I still
yesterday.
have mine. I'm actually sitting. It's under where I'm sitting, but I still have it.
It was and I was thinking to myself, and I think I said it in the video. This thing is a beast, but they
Yeah,
never
it's
did expand the platform. They never did branch
no,
out.
no, because you know why? Too many people, too many other companies came in and did more with it than what they, I guess, was willing to do. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they went with the zoom lock and just went down that angle and kept that way.
You know, I still have all those old Zimlock shirts, the yellow ones. I still have them. I have like 8 of them damn things. I wear them
Really?
all the time. All the
uh,
time.
I wonder if I have some in the back somewhere. That'd be crazy. It's possible that I have
You know
those.
what? The best shirts that I have are free. That's really what I, because I have Mitsubishi shirts, I have Ferguson
Hmm.
shirts, and Zimlock shirts.
Oh, good grief! What was that shirt? EWC's polo shirt. That was the
Yeah,
best.
yeah,
We're,
and the
I can talk to them. They're a sponsor still.
dude, and I still, when somebody asks about zoning, especially bypass, you got to
Hmm.
use the static bypass damper. And then,
Yeah,
hold on a second, I hadn't wore any of these, but like, you probably got some of these shirts, the the Navac shirts.
I have like I had some winter stuff for Navac, and it was sweet. It's some good stuff. But
Yeah.
I had the
And
yellow
look,
jacket polos, and the yellow
and then I
jacket
got some
polos are
bunch of
beautiful.
got a bunch of
What the world is that?
hats.
Oh, that's a lot of hats. Was
I
that
got a bunch of
Navac?
stuff. Yeah.
Oh man.
So when I'm teaching the 2-day class, of course, I do a whole 45-minute demo on flares, right? I bring guys up and let them make, because everybody thinks they make good flares until they learn they don't make good flares. And and I had to prove it to them. But I just I bring the guy that's been in the field for the longest amount of time, says he's a professional flare maker. Then I bring in the guy that's never made a flare before in his life, and I give this guy the battery powered flare, and I give this guy the yellow jacket flare tool, because this is the one he likes. He likes that blue handle yellow jacket. He says, "Oh, it's the
Yeah.
best." But yeah,
Oh,
it's only it's the best.
the classic. Yeah,
It's the best a 0.5% of the time.
that NAVAC thing's pretty sweet.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, you can't. There's no.
Wee-oo, click.
Hey,
All right.
so the mini split kit, in one class, I don't make commission on this stuff. I don't even care if we sell it. I show it to guys so they can do their job better. Right? That's all I care about. But we sell the mini split kit. It's like $800. But in one class, I sold 4 of those damn things.
4 mini split kits. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like 10 till 10. I have to do the sponsor thing anyway, but we can still continue talking afterwards. We'll just play Skill Trade Up on Tuesday. I think everybody will be fine with that because we have a special guest.
Cool.
We'll see if anyone whines about it. We'll go
right.
from there. Yeah, I'm going to play the sponsor thing real quick, guys. We'll be right back after these messages. Save 8% off your order at TrueTechTools.com by using the Shop Talk discount code. Refrigeration Technologies makes some of the best HVAC chemicals around, and that includes wet rag heat blocking putty that prevents your vital system components from being damaged while you're brazing. Also, there's Nylog, gasket and thread sealant, a variety of uses including sealing up flares, gaskets, and other HVAC joints and connections. Last but not least, there's Viper Aerosol Cleaner. I use it on evaporator coils. It foams up beautifully, does a great job cleaning. So if you need anything in the HVAC chemical arena, choose Refrigeration Technologies. You can find out more at refridgetech.com and purchase at truetech.tools.com. The NP4 DLM cordless vacuum pump from NAVAC features a high-performance lithium battery capable of up to 1 hour of continuous running time. Weighing a scant 15.4 pounds, this unit is exceedingly efficient and, for technicians, easy to carry and store. The MP4 DLM's twin-cylinder operation provides high vacuum down to 15 microns. To save 8% off this product when you purchase, go to TrueTechTools.com and use our Shop Talk discount code. The best forced air zoning controls in the HVAC industry come from EWC Controls. This includes the Workhorse BM Plus 3000 zone panel, 3 zones, multiple dip switches so you can customize the controls to your particular system install. Another workhorse of the system is the URD and ND dampers. These power open, power closed dampers are both reliable and long lasting. So for the entire life of your system, you won't be replacing your zoning components. And lastly, the innovative SBD2 static pressure bypass with the wireless NFC interface take this whole thing to a new level of precision and reliability, because you can set your system right there at your fingertips to the particular static pressure you need. No more guesswork, no more barometric arms. Go to EWC Controls Incorporated. You can find them online to learn more and look for them in your local supply house. And we're back. All right. Man, EWC commercial right there.
I had to take my mic off of mute. But somebody said, who was it that said, just make sure it's a true RMS meter? Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. If you're working on any of our stuff, make sure it's a true RMS.
Oh, this is perfect. This is a good conversation, all right? Because a lot of them, you can get a pretty inexpensive true RMS meter. But what about stuff like you're going to need DC amps for mini splits?
No.
You don't need DC amps.
No.
Okay, so you can do without that.
Not
AC
with our
amps.
stuff.
Not with your stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. All right, so you're not going to be measuring that. So is there anything special about them that they need to have to work on Mitsubishi?
No, you just need a true RMS meter, and it doesn't have to be a analog meter would work with our stuff.
Oh man, that's nice. Like doing the Sperry's or whatever.
Yeah. So So the a regular meter, a non true RMS meter, because a meter is just a calculator. That's all it is. It's just
Hmm.
looking at sine wave and it's just averaging. But true RMS, uh, what is it? Root mean square.
Hmm.
So it's looking at the whole sine wave versus a regular averaging meter.
Okay. And there's pretty cheap ones out there. I remember some of those
Yeah,
UEI ones were like 70, $80 at the time. They're probably more
yeah,
expensive now. But yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty cheap. There was another question. Oh, there's Curtis. Curtis says,
I know.
"What's
I
up,
see
Ralph?"
Curtis.
Nice.
Oh,
Uh,
and
the
Bad
software
News
question.
Monk.
Yep.
Yes, DSB is a free software, and I'm gonna tell you, if you're going to be doing multi-zones or branch boxes, or once you get past the ported, even if you're doing a ported, you still want to use DSB because it'll keep you out of trouble, meaning it won't let you install the wrong indoor equipment.
Explain what it is that you're talking about.
So DSB is just a design software from Mitsubishi. You set up your area with the temperatures, right? And then so you can do it 100%, 130% um, uh, capacity, and then it's just a design software.
Oh, but if you use it, it's like a checks and balances to make sure you're doing stuff
Yeah,
correctly.
yeah. Actually, so if you go over to MyLink Drive, so if you guys aren't familiar, you guys that do Mitsubishi should be familiar with MyLink Drive. That's Mitsubishi's website. You go over there and then click on the software tab. No, actually, if you want to see about DSB, you can go into the tech tips. There's a making a drawing video on tech tips, because of tech tips there's a bunch of just videos. So you find the one that says making a drawing, and it tells you how to use Diamond System Builder.
What's the most common mistake when people are designing stuff without checking it with software?
Well, so everybody thinks, and that's a good question. So everybody, so let's say a ported unit. Let's say
Mm.
they have a multi-story house, 2 story. Let's say it's just 2 stories, main floor upstairs, and so they go by a 4-port system, 4 zones, and they want to try to do both floors with that one multi-ported unit. Well, then they start getting in trouble, because just like air zoning, right? You really don't want to air zone multiple floors, right?
Yeah, yeah, it
Well,
gets a little dicey.
when you start dealing with refrigerant, it gets even worse, because the on a multi-ported unit, it pretty much uses the whole unit as a receiver, right? So that those LEVs are going to be open a little bit, so you're going to be sending refrigerant to those heads, whether they're open or closed, or whether it's calling or not. So you
Hmm.
could overheat or overcool a space without realizing that you're going to do it.
But the fans aren't running. It's like a radiant cooling or heating going on
Well,
while
it's
it's happening.
radiant, but in heating, it's especially critical in heating, because once the coil reaches 104 degrees, that fan's going to come on to cool that coil down.
Oh, interesting.
So
Okay.
if you didn't do a load and you've undersized one area and it's running a lot, well, that refrigerant is going up throughout the whole system. And if you have a little small area, a little small bedroom, um, it's going to overheat that coil in this room that's already satisfied, but that one is a little oversized, and it's going to bring that one on and overheat that area.
Oh, that's pretty
So
interesting.
what I like to tell guys is, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Right?
Yeah. There's,
Always go ahead.
I was gonna say, there's another question, but I'll let you finish your thought first.
So always try to do one system per floor,
Yeah,
one
that's a good
outdoor
rule of
unit,
thumb
one
across the
outdoor unit
board.
per floor. Yeah.
Yeah. Kuiper is saying, can you run heat and AC on different zones, referring to the ported ones versus
No.
box,
No.
branch box, or whatever?
No, you'd have to get into not even with branch box, but even with a branch box system, you still don't want to do multiple floors. You're better off not to do multiple floors.
That's interesting
You
because
get,
people would think that they could do that. That's something that people would say,
yeah,
okay, now I can do this.
I know, it is a thought, but the problem with it is they don't realize that there's still refrigerant going through those satisfied zones, and it has to go through it because it just now when you get into city multi, it's a whole lot. It's different. You get better control.
What's the difference between the two?
So city multi, that's your three phase, um, and your LEVs are actually in your indoor units.
Okay, so it's a little bit more regulation pinpointed throughout the system.
Right.
I know you had another question too. That's why I was coming back over here. Okay, that must be Blown Crowbar's question finally appearing here. So I'm coming from commercial HVAC, just started my own HVAC company. How do you deal with Google residential customers? I've never had a Google residential customer. I'm not
No,
sure
I
what
hadn't
that
either.
is.
Unless he's talking about reviews.
That could be it. I mean, reviews, or I have a feeling it's some sort of thing like Home Advisor, where Google's handling some leads or something. I'm not sure. Maybe you
Right.
can clarify that.
So, Bad News Monk, he did bring up a point. So, um, you can't on the city multi if you have a R series, you can heat and cool at the same time, right? But it does take a branch controller, so that's just only in the R series. When you get into the Y series, city multi, you can't heat and cool at the same time. It's actually one line set that goes in and it branches off, right? But with
Oh,
a
okay.
with a R series, it actually has a branch controller. Now on the M series, we have a branch box, but all the LEVs are in that branch box. Where on the city multi, all the LEVs are on the indoor units.
Oh, we don't have enough time to go
So
through why you choose each
no,
one. That's a different day right there. Let's see what else we got here. Blown Cobra
yeah,
says, LOL. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure what the Google stuff is. We've been, Ralph and I, I haven't really, I still do
yeah,
stuff in the field periodically, but it's not like back in the day where we'd be working all day
no.
long in the field. So
And
I'm out of the loop.
blown Cobra, there you go. He's the DSP will help you
Oh,
tell what controls you use too. But so here's what I use DSP for. I will. So I already know what controls you use, right? But for a contractor, so when you do city multi stuff like he's talking about, commercial stuff, um, you can actually do a DSP, lay it out in CAD, and it'll have their controls diagram on it, and it'll tell what what controller is going to control what units, and it's. I mean, we could talk for 2 days on this subject. I mean,
yeah.
there's a lot, right?
That's
But
what it seems like. That's why I didn't want to dive into that because it seems like, especially when you talk about differences in units and how they're controlled, it seems like,
yeah,
it's like
it's a lot that we can't just cover in like 15 minutes. So there is a lot there.
Blown Cobra did come back and explain. No, the customer's showing you the part is $10 and you're charging 300 or whatever you charge. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I didn't run
yeah,
into that a whole lot really. I mean, I think a lot of the people I dealt with kind of understood that a part price is just part of the price of what they're paying for, and that I don't know. They might make some assumptions like this is not the same part, and it takes a special
yeah. It
customer to
just
do that.
and it does that. Most of your customers aren't going to do that. Now, what I learned is those customers that do that, they're not your customers, right? Just you got to just deal with it, and just if they call you back, just never call them again. So, kind of to his point, there was a guy in Maine. We have a once a year we have a DSG conference at Mitsubishi. That's just service guys that do my job for Mitsubishi. We get together once a year. This year we had a contractor actually come and speak on one of the nights about how, about his business. This guy is in Maine. All he sells is Mitsubishi. And he does $1 million a month, right?
Mm.
Just in Mitsubishi. That's all he does. He doesn't do any other type of equipment. And when somebody asks him, hey, will you give me a quote on a conventional? He's like, no. Will you give me a quote on a Daikin? Nope. And he just like, well, those people are not my customers. Those people are not the people that I want to do business with,
Yeah,
because he feels strong. If you felt strongly about ice, you could sell ice to an Eskimo, right?
I've heard that somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. So
A
if you're
ketchup
passionate,
popsicle to a white shirt person, something like that.
do what?
A ketchup popsicle to a white shirted person. I think that came from Tommy Boy.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's where I
you
learned
know, it's
sales.
just yeah, it's just one of those deals. You're always going to get those people that want to. Well, I can buy it for $30 on Amazon. Well, good, go buy it. Go put it in yourself, and then when it breaks, call Amazon to come fix it.
Amazon probably does that now. You should be careful. Amazon's like, well, we'll have a droid there to fix it later. I mean, I don't know. I've never run into someone talking about the capacitors like this thing's $6 because I would have been like the same way. It's like, okay, I mean, this is the whole charge
Yeah,
is built around the labor and all the different things. I mean, if you want to try to put it in, I mean, you can of course put
yeah.
it in.
Well, my tires cost me 800 a year, sometimes more.
Hmm.
My insurance. I did a video where I broke down by the minute how much everything cost me.
Hmm.
By the minute, it took my insurance, took my gas. I figured out how much gas I use a year, how much my tires were, oil changes, all that stuff, and did it by the minute. How much I had to make a minute, 24 hours a day to even just pay the bills.
Yeah, it's surprising when you actually take the time because you always think of some things like, oh, I forgot about this or I forgot about this. This is you break it up. It's like, well, there's $1 more every hour I got to make. There's $5 more or whatever it is.
Yeah, but blown cobra, you're always going to have those people, but just that's in every line of work, though. You know,
Absolutely.
um, it's in
Auto
every line of work,
mechanics and stuff.
and
Yeah.
and don't yeah, look at auto mechanics, plumbers. You can buy a water heater from Home Depot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So and you can buy air conditioner online too.
And you can buy those at Home Depot as well.
Yeah, yeah. So
Uh, looking down here, bad news, Monk. That's no problem. I just know we couldn't get to all that stuff that you were asking about, but we can definitely address it little bits at a time throughout the future. A nice vague term. The future, we could talk about it more and more, which is a good subject too. I
yeah,
think that. Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, it's one of those subjects that it's. I know guys have been putting it off for a long time. There's a lot of guys out there that don't understand how all this new stuff works, but they're going to have to learn
Hmm.
because the government's going to make you learn how to do it.
They're making this every few years. They're going to start next
Yeah,
year, January 1st, and continue to
yeah,
go up, up, up. You know.
yeah. So it doesn't that all this new changes really doesn't affect Mitsubishi much because we already are there.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's like
You
if you're
know the
27
the
SEER, it's fine. Yeah.
yeah the refrigerants the only thing that's going to change, and I don't know yet what refrigerant they're going to change over to yet. So don't ask. I
Mitsubishi.
don't know.
No, I hadn't even thought about that, but yeah, no, I just assumed it was R32 for Mitsubishi.
Well, that's what you would think, but they want to leave themselves open to changes from the government, just like every other manufacturer,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, R32 is already pretty close to where their standard is,
Mm-hmm. To be
right?
close to
So
what they want. Yeah.
they may not go to R32. They may go to 454B. They hadn't decided that.
Oh, that's interesting. I
So,
just assumed they would actually because of all the stuff they have all
well,
throughout the world.
well, that's what I thought too, because it's all already there. They already have units, but the problem is that the government's made it so R32 so close to the cutoff that
Mm-hmm.
they may.
They may just.
Nah, Jeff, I'm not even. You know what? I do kind of want to address that one little subject. Godspeed to the guy. I hope he's good.
Godspeed. Hey, that's great. That's really nice.
I don't. I've not thought about that dude in 3 years.
And that's probably the best thing for you, Ralph. Just proceed with life as you already have.
Yeah,
I
I
was,
don't really care.
I was going to tell you that I saw two questions left, and that's going to be the last two, I think, because we will have to wrap it up. Because I'm going to edit this entire thing tonight, and that puts me into the wee hours of the morning. It's real talk right there. We have two. The first one is from Curtis, and it's on a P series for a commercial kitchen. How often should you maintenance the indoor unit? I don't know. Some of them commercial kitchens is like every day.
Yeah, they're pretty nasty. So that depends on the kitchen. Um, I would say at least twice a year, but you better,
Mhm.
when you go in the first time, you'll be able to judge how often you're going to have to do it. And so depending on what unit you're putting in, depending on how much you want to, how often you want to do it, because some of them are pretty tough to get to the indoor coils.
Mm-hmm. Whenever he wrote that question, I was thinking about a unit
I
we had
saw
put in the
it when
kitchen.
you, yeah,
So it's bad. It's bad. Like 3 months, the coil started leaking though, so it was
yeah,
bad. The hood malfunctioned though on the
yeah.
cooktop, so it was covered in crap.
I mean, there are some things that I really go ahead with the other question.
The other question is like a general purpose question here. It was about flat rate. I think he said flat rate versus hourly, and I never used flat rate. Okay, like you know this because we talked about this before. It's a make believe flat rate that you charge this amount for calls and you keep it right up here. It's like, oh,
Right.
you're changing this blower motor, that'll be $375 or something like that.
Yeah, whatever there.
Yeah.
But and it depends. So some of this flat rate stuff, the companies kind of have to use it because there's so many different guys in the company, and they have a set overhead. They
Hmm.
got to make that overhead. You know what I mean?
Do most of the
Insurance
people
for
you
the
deal
truck.
with use it?
Um, mm, so we have a mixed bag, right? Our Diamond Elite contractors are pretty big contractors, and they're using, you know, using. So our biggest Mitsubishi contractor actually comes from the Asheville area for our
Hmm.
three states for our
Wow.
district. Asheville is our biggest Mitsubishi distributor.
Wow. That's
So
interesting. Probably because it's stuck up there in the mountains. There's only a certain size power cable feeding Nashville. Now to keep the
there's
power load
there's a
low.
certain no, there's a certain group of people that's moved to Asheville.
Hmm. Well,
I'm
I'm
not.
just
Hey, I'm
sensing that.
not.
I'm just sensing like we're gonna breeze by that. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's the type of people that's decided they wanted to move to Asheville. More, uh, let
I, how about
economy.
this? Maybe like an Austin, Texas kind of situation.
Yeah, more Tesla drivers. Let's put it like
Okay.
that. And look at me, I got a hybrid truck.
Yeah. A
I
hypocrite. A hypocrite.
yeah. Nah, I bought it just so I could have power if mine ever went down.
Nah, that's your truck sounds
Believe it or
pretty
not,
good.
I almost used my truck on a job because I thought the power was messed up on this unit at this unit, or I thought the power was messed up at the house because it was like a I don't know 80-year-old house, and I thought they was having a power issue.
Mm.
So the unit was on the size of the house where you pulled up, so I would have been able to back my truck up to this unit, and I was going to actually use my truck to power this unit because I knew he would have had clean power at that point.
Hmm. So, have you like looked at the power output of your truck under like
Yeah.
a oscilloscope or whatever you check that with?
No,
Sure.
no, 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 no,
I'm just I can see it
no,
sitting out there with like some kind of giant machine going. Yeah, we're good. That's a nice sine wave.
no. But it's. I'm sure it makes a good. I'm sure there's probably pretty clean power coming out of this thing.
It must be. It's a brand new Ford What is it? F-150.
Yeah,
Nice. You can recharge a hybrid with your truck.
I could.
Oh,
I could.
you have a
I could.
Tesla hooked
I
up
was.
to it.
I was watching a video tonight on YouTube, TFL trucks,
Mhm.
and they just bought a Lightning,
Oh yeah, the
total
fast
electric
one.
F-150, and they're going to take it to the farthest points of Alaska. But Ford's going to give them a hybrid like mine to go behind them. So if they don't have any power, no charging stations, they could charge the Lightning up with the hybrid truck.
That's funny. So Ford Lightning is an all electric truck.
Yeah, it's all electric.
It used to be just like their souped up SVT, like how they had SVT
Yeah,
Cobra,
yeah,
the
yeah,
special
yeah,
vehicle teams,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that used to
yeah.
be the Lightning too.
Yeah, that was a Lightning, but they that that Lightning is now just a full electric.
Hmm. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah,
I always think of like the race trucks or something.
yeah.
Huh.
So yeah, if you want, we can meet back and circle back, as some would say.
She's gone now, but yeah,
Yeah, circle back and do some important points or some things that you want to do while you're installing some of our units.
that's right. In fact, that would be real helpful if Let's see. That was Bad News Monk right there. So Bad News Monk, if you will, you can message me like with the Shop Talk email, HVAC Shop Talk at Gmail. If there's something in particular that I can say, hey Ralph, can you talk about this? And Ralph be like,
So
I don't know. Then I say, okay, Jose, will you talk
no, I
about it? Sure.
no, I can see if my guy over at Mitsubishi, the area service manager over there, he watches you too, actually.
Hey, he's qualified then, right?
Oh, he definitely qualified.
You better have a good personality. You don't want to come on here and be a stick in the mud.
Oh, he's a good guy.
Okay. All right.
So
We can do that.
But yeah, so if he can do it, I don't know if he can. Mitsubishi will let him.
But you're here.
Well, I'm different though. I don't work for Mitsubishi. I work for the distributor,
Oh, that's true.
and their stance is whatever you do on your own time, that's your deal. Just don't give us a bad name, right? And you
Yeah.
know,
You done good.
I do have a Ferguson hat on, but
I even forgot Ferguson. All I think about is Mitsubishi. If you would say I work at Mitsubishi, I wouldn't even think to even correct that because I would think, yeah, that's probably right.
no, I don't know if I would ever want to work at Mitsubishi. Just I'm right where I need to be.
Don't
Right.
mess it up here at the end, Ralph, where you're going to say why you wouldn't work for Mitsubishi.
No,
Like,
no, it's
lawyers
nothing,
are going to come in
nothing,
here.
nothing bad about Mitsubishi, but the way my job is set up is exactly the way I like it, right? So I answer the phone, I go do job site visits. There's not a lot of red tape that I have to go through, right? And I go teach classes, right? So I don't have a
Mhm.
lot of red tape. There's more red tape to get out to,
I'm with you.
you know what I mean?
It's the right decision.
So yeah, so I'm in the right job.
I think so too. That feels right. That feels right. Right about there. Feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the end of the show right there, everybody. Ralph, I didn't know Ralph was going to be on this show, everybody. It didn't happen
didn't.
until like good, like
30,
30 minutes, maybe.
yeah, half hour prior to the show, I texted Zach, and I don't know, Jerry. I don't know Florida's number for anybody in Mitsubishi.
I was about to say. I thought he was asking if Florida had a phone number. I was like, everybody in Florida has separate phone numbers.
No, there is a guy down there, depending on where you buy from. If you'll get Zach where you buy from, then I can ask the guy that does Florida for Mitsubishi and find out who the DSG that works for that distributor, who it is, and get you his phone number. Or you can just call the distributor that you buy from, and they have a DSG on staff like me.
There you go. Yeah, if you have questions for Ralph, I mean, you can send them to the same email. I'll just send them over to Ralph.
Yeah.
I'll distribute
Southern
them
Georgia.
where they go.
So my Union City class, here we're trying to get off of there, but
No, you go ahead and answer the things.
so as far down as far south as I know that there's a training center is in Union City, Georgia by the airport, and it would be a 2-day class at the Ferguson branch. And I actually teach that class.
Oh,
Zach, you've been there before.
I have. That's right. That's the place where he said it's if you go to the convenience store at night, just don't do that.
No, you have to drive a few miles to get. Yeah.
It's a bad part of town. It's where the airport's
Yeah.
at.
Yep.
I remember.
Jessica, it's good seeing you. Hey, when I teach
Yeah.
that 2-day class, I had to go down and find a place because I stay 2 nights down there when I'm teaching that class, and
It's a pretty good haul. Yeah, that's right.
yeah, it's 2.5 hours. So I just stay down. I'll just go on a Monday, get the class set up, stay Monday night, and then stay Tuesday night, and then when I'm done Wednesday, then I drive home, and then I don't get home till like 8 o'clock. So
Yeah. But you got to answer Gene down there because Gene's the guy who found us at AHR, I believe, and took the picture with us. You remember that? The guy who came out there? I think that's Gene.
Yeah.
I think that's him.
So I don't work for Mitsubishi. We were just
See what I mean?
You just came in just a little too late. But no. So I work for Ferguson. I am a factory authorized guy from Mitsubishi. So I'm a factory authorized rep that works for Ferguson for Mitsubishi.
I wonder if Gene. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I wonder if Gene, like, he hasn't watched the show maybe like a year and a half or something, and he thinks it's just continuity. Just you are talking about Mitsubishi again.
So the cool part is, it's been how long since I've been on here?
It's been about a year and a half.
You sure? Year and a half?
I'm not sure. That was just my guess in this moment, but it's.
A year
I
and
don't know
a
how
half,
long do you
2
think it's
years,
been?
right? 2 years?
It could be 2 years. It's been a
Oh, well,
while.
it's been a while, right?
I'll
So
go with
it
a
didn't
while.
even feel like we even
I think we left off talking right about this stuff anyway.
probably the same conversation.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If we missed
So
anything, just go back a couple years and catch the rest of it.
yeah, and the guy that was asking about South Carolina, if I'll be in South Carolina, it probably won't be till the fall, and I'll do 4-hour classes for Greenville, Columbia, Charleston, Augusta. I'll do 4-hour Mitsubishi classes for there. Just signed up with Ferguson 2 weeks ago, Atlanta. See, that's cool.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't do any 4-hour classes for Mitsubishi in the Atlanta area because I have the 2-day class. And if I feel like if I do a 4-day class, a 4-hour class, they're not going to want to come to the 2-day.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
it does. Yeah.
So.
And thank you, Curtis. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And there was something else. No, I can't remember. Oh yeah. Gator AT. Thanks. I'll be in Charleston on July the 1st. So there you go. Picking up my son from his camp. We come home for a little bit, then go back to college again.
Yeah. So there, I blew your hours, an hour and 20 minutes now.
Yeah, like that happens like half the time anyway. So it's like you look at like how long the shows are. It's like 1 hour, 120, 105, 113. Okay.
Oh, Gene says, yeah, no, he met us in Atlanta. Yeah, at the trade show.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, what?
Yeah.
You're Zach and Ralph.
Yeah.
What?
The next time, where's the next show going to be? Where is it?
I have no idea. The
Anybody
last one
know?
was in Vegas. I know.
Oh, no.
Oh, let me tell you this. I think I'm actually, and this is, we'll see if this actually happens. I think I'm actually going to go to Brian's thing next year.
Me
He always
too.
asked me to go, and it's like, you can just wander around and record stuff. I was like, okay, I'm not going to do any panels and crap. I just want to go.
Brian's never asked me to go, but I'm not going to go down there and pay. I'm not going to go pay to go be part of it. I'm just not going to.
You're not going to pay. He said he told me I could go for free, so I'm pretty sure you could go for free.
Well,
I shouldn't say that out loud. That was probably a mistake. I shouldn't say that you could go for free.
So NAVAC said that they will pay for my way.
NAVAC?
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna get NAVAC to pay for my way.
Me and NAVAC tight.
Hey, this show's sponsored by NAVAC. We should.
Well,
yeah.
I
don't even have a hat.
Well, I have a bunch of them. I have
that stack of hats says your life is sponsored by NAVAC.
Dude, my boss thinks I have a NAVAC tattoo.
NAVAC's pretty good. Yeah, they're nice.
Jessica said she'll give me a ticket. See,
I like Gene said Zach is way larger back then.
Do what?
He said Zach was way larger. You're darn tootin', pal.
Yeah. So NAVAC will give me a room too. So.
All right. Well, that's nice.
Yeah, Jessica's she big time over there at Caleb's now.
Jessica's like the service manager or something. I forget. It's like Brian, and then I think it's Jessica. It's like Bob, Brian, Jessica, something like that. Hey. I think that's right.
Yeah.
I will take Harbor Freight. All right, what's the difference? We got to get out of here. I have to edit this thing for real. I mean, I'll be out here till like 2 a.m. cutting videos apart. And
anybody say you got to put it up on Monday?
No, this is the way it works out best for me. Quiet time to do it. It's nice. Working at home, man. All right. So, guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. I appreciate it. I enjoy being smaller. Thank you. Yeah. Ralph, thank you for, this well-planned interview. And actually it turned out fine. And I think the more planning some of us do, the worse it gets. You know what I'm saying?
So that is that's me in a nutshell. See, Zach's all that's why I'm really probably not on anymore, because Zach's all bullet points and I'm like, hey, look, there's a squirrel.
That's false.
Oh, look, you got it wrote down.
This is the first one I've done like this in the longest time. That's so ironic that you said that. Yeah. I said I'm gonna try to remember, because I want to mention like certain things, like, hey, like the video, hey, sign up for this, and I always forget about it, so I try to write it down.
That's why the 2-day classes has a PowerPoint, and I follow the slides.
I need a little bit of direction.
Yeah,
I bet you do. There was this cat in my neighborhood last night.
You didn't even know he was going to talk about something called the Peter Principle, did you?
The Peter Principle was something completely different than I thought it was going to be. You're right.
Yeah.
That was different. I was told differently when I was younger. But
yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning
All right.
in.
Yeah, be careful.
Thank you, Ralph. You see Ralph again. He can expand on some of these points. You let me know what you want to know, guys, and I can arrange it. And that's what I always say. I mean, you control the show except for tonight. The show controlled itself tonight. But be back Tuesday, 9 p.m. We'll play some skilled trade up. And Ralph, why don't you do your thing? I think that'd be the best.
Dude, I can't even remember. I was, believe it or
Don't even
not,
lie.
I was nervous coming on here tonight.
That's
It's been
crap.
so long.
No way.
It's been so long. I can't even remember what the closing line was. You might as well.
A farewell and adieu, right?
Oh no, I can't remember.
I'll just do it. Right, I just do it. I will bid you farewell and adieu.
And adieu.